22 entrants in it. William Ray has pole position, George Barker alongside on the front row, Harry Higgs and Damien Barris-Haggett on row 2, Callum Gosh and Kieran Denyer on row number 3. Oliver Smith and Casey Jones row 4, Amelie Ackett and Harrison Morrow on row 10, Michael Dalton and Ronnie Coburn are on row number 6. Mac McFarquhar and Edward Rose are on row number 7. Lena Somers Kelly and Oliver Sander are on row number 8. Daniel Amor and Woody Radford are on row number 9. Sasha Bagley and Charlie Domonikos are on row number 10. George Ivanov and Joshua Cooke on row 11. As we say, 22 karts in this one. So heat number 1 was taken by our pole sitter. So William Ray has a great opportunity here to make it 2 in a row and put himself in a very, very strong position at this stage of proceedings. Keep your comments coming in. Lots of support. Hello to Mummy Cucurullo Yeomans, who's very happy with the performance of Tom today. So another P2 there. Hello to Fallon Warren as well, who's cheering on the number 22 in that last race. And I think it was about a 14th place finish for the number 22 of Morgan Hill. So another driver we've been seeing coming through the ranks here at Wilton Mill Kart Club. And especially as the drivers move up through that order, you know, drivers who have been in cadets can sometimes take a bit of a while to get up to speed in minis.
Yes, absolutely. You have to remember that it's a much wider car actually in Mini Max due to the chassis they use. Of course, completely different manufacturers being favoured in Mini Max. For example, in Honda Cadet, for example, the Project One chassis is very popularly used. Whereas in Mini Max, you know, it's OTK, which is mainly used, quite frankly, for all the drivers. So it is quite a lot to get used to. Also, the tires are very, very different. Now in Mini Max, they use, of course, D2s. Several years ago, they used D1s, which was a slightly harder compound, which was actually quite a bit more similar to the harder tires they use on the Honda Cadet carts and on the Iami carts, Iami Cadets, of course. So now we have the slightly softer D2s in Mini Max, and that can take a little bit of time to get used to due to the temperatures you need to bring those tires up to. They come in at a different point, really. We've seen multiple drivers really on their Mini Max debut spin on the formation lap, so it's just another thing to get used to. As we can hear the engines firing up outside the commentary box, we should have the formation lap on the way very shortly. Absolutely, there they are, with our with William Ray, which was, I believe, was the winner of our previous Mini Max heat, starting from pole position. That, of course, isn't being carried over from the first heat. That's just how he was randomly selected, which for William Ray is quite good news, probably.
It is indeed. It's going to be a crucial first lap to see if he can get a bit of a breakaway, because we saw it in the first heat. He got to the front, it's like, okay, is he now going to be able to pull away? It's often, you know, we see drivers sitting in P2 in the slipstream and not letting the leader get out too far out front, getting them back later in the race. But that definitely wasn't the case with William Ray in the first heat. 8 minutes plus 1 lap yet again.
As you can see now, all the drivers forming up on the grid, various engine, of course. One of them being used by George Barker there. That is the time racing engine, which is actually DHR who carries out the work. They use the time there as kind of a brand for themselves. So we get ready for the start here. I believe they're happy with that start. And yes, the green flag goes. William Ray takes a commanding lead into the first corner. He should have a very good run out of the first 2 corners. Yes, he does. Comfortably leading away. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving as they're 2-3 wide at certain places, but they should get away with it without any contact. Yes, it appears so. So we've got William Ray leading, and that is not George Barker in second. That is actually the 27 of Damien Barris-Haggett, who's in second with the yellow and blue graphics on his car. It's the 88 in third of Callum Gosh, and George Barker has dropped down to 4th, unfortunately. So, into the boot now, as we can see, the 13 being hotly pursued by Michael Dalton, who gives him a little bit of a helping hand out of combat, just to raise his revs. How kind of him. And there's further contact! Oh, yep, that's an exhaust. That was bound to happen. That was Michael Dalton running into the back of, I believe that was Callum Gosh, actually. Actually, my apologies, no it wasn't. As you can see, I think somebody having a little bit of damage, and that's, again, who's that off the road now?
I think that was Dalton, the number 6, and there's the number 13 off as well of Kieran Denyer. So Kieran Denyer looking to the right-hand side of the kart. I think that may be a mechanical. I don't think there was any severe contact causing him to be ending up off the circuit. But yeah, you just saw Michael Dalton there, the number 44, recovering from a separate incident.
Michael Dalton has a little bit of damage on the car. I believe the front fairing is wrapped underneath the cart, which is dragging on the circuit after that first incident he had, which ripped the exhaust off the cart. Actually, I didn't see the exhaust fly off, so maybe it was just slightly dispositioned. You could hear, as we can see now, the battle for the lead now. Contact warning for Michael Dalton. I've got to be brutally honest, I'm not at all surprised about that. But still, William Rea is leading the way with the 27 following in closely behind. Then it's Callum Gosh, and then George Barker, and then the 87 of Attack Motorsport, which is Matt McFarlane.
Yeah, Max made some really good progress through the order, started towards the bottom end of this 22 kart field, but Damien Barras-Haggett, who we've seen racing in years previous here at Whilton Mill, looking up the inside now of William Rea and taking the lead very nicely, keeps it in track limits as well. Very impressive to get a move done that cleanly through the final corner. And we saw in the first race he had very good pace, but kind of ran out of time. He started towards the back of the field, but got high up the order, wasn't able to chase down William Rea. Obviously starting a little bit further up the grid this time. He's taken advantage of it and he's got a good lead at this stage.
Absolutely. It's good to see that Damien's running the Potenza racing engine machine. Of course, these are all Rotax engines. However, they have different builders. For those who remember, back in the 90s, it was quite similar with the Ford DFR engine used by many of the midfield F1 teams. They were all Ford V8 engines, but they were tuned by different tuning companies, and it's the same here in Rotax. So different engines might have slightly stronger areas on the circuit. So we have to see how this engine battle progresses throughout this year and probably into 2022.
0.45 of a second is now the lead for Barras-Haggett. Heading up to Christmas Corner now, you can just see the number 88 of Callum Gosh behind, and in a big gap back to 4th place where you've got George Barker and Mac McFarquhar. Both of those drivers have made their way through from the back of the field. Quick note into the novices. Charlie de Moncos currently is your top novice in 18th place on the Your Timing Tower side-by-side. Side-by-side also out on circuit. Here are Barker and McFarquhar. McFarquhar looking to the inside now into Ozier's very nice move, and that will be 4th place.
Yep, textbook stuff there by the book, essentially. He's got the run and got the move done. So we've got George Barker now being hotly pursued by the 77 of Ronnie Coburn as he attempts to... Oh, there was a little bit of contact there. Oh, he waves his hand. Do you mind? Says George Barker in a slightly aggrieved tone, no doubt. However, as we now look at this battle, he's going to have another look at George Barker. Will George Barker lose 2 positions? Yes, he does. And he might even lose 3. Probably has, I'm afraid. Yes, he has. 28 also getting past Oliver Smith. So not a great Christmas corner by George Barker. However, still we have the 77 there and the 41 of Daniel Amor pursuing him very tightly. Interesting thing of note to also see, of course, we're having a little bit of temperature change now at the circuit. Some drivers are opening their cooling flaps, some aren't, which is giving you kind of an indication of what the temperatures are like for the engines. Of course, some are choosing to run a little bit hotter, some a little bit cooler, depending on what they believe gives optimum performance. We come across now with 3 minutes just under remaining. And we have the 41 now starting to put pressure, and that is indeed Michael Dalton. He's come in, no doubt some damage. Clearly the bumper is in, and the 41 has gone past the 77 of Ronnie Coburn. Good move there into Ashby, our heavy braking zone on the circuit, one of our heavy braking zones, in fact. And the 28 of Oliver Smith will no doubt be sniffing an opportunity. Will just a little bit a little bit. It seemed that the 41 of Daniel Amor didn't have a great exit coming out of Osiers, but he has regrouped and is hoping to be tackling Mac McFarquhar next.
Yep, absolutely. It's a very heads-up driver is Daniel Amor and Ronnie Coburn there. And you see the 77 making that adjustment as down the inside goes Oliver Smith. So Oliver Smith is now on the scene. He just ran out a little bit too far there on the exit of Christmas and falls back to 7th place. Woody Radford's on the move in this race as well. He's up to 9th place, following through Oliver Sander. Harry Higgs has made an overtake for 12th place. 1 minute 40 to go. Damien Barris-Haggett leads the race. William Ray has just set the fastest lap of the race so far, though. As coming through here, we're having a look at Mac McFarquhar. 4th place at the moment for Mac in the number 87. He's got a big train of karts behind him, and he's got to play this wisely. He doesn't want to fight too hard because there's a lot of drivers there who want that 4th place. And what would you say? 4th down to 10th place is currently covered by about 3 seconds.
Yep, that's not very much considering there's still a minute on the clock, and we have to wait and see when the drivers start defending, because that's when you lose the most amount of time. Still got the 87 being pursued by the 41 of Daniel Amor, so this battle over 4th place heating up during the closing stages of this race. However, we still got the fastest lap time now from William Rea, which was a 10th faster, just over 10th faster over the previous best by our race leader, the 27 of Damien Barris-Haggett. However, is there going to be a move by the 41 now into Christmas? Yes, it is. Pulls out, gets the job done. Yes, he does. The 87 runs a little bit wide, and that's an extra position gain and up to 4th.
Yeah, another one for Daniel Amor. He's raced really well so far today. He's picked his moves wisely and will look to pull away now with some 10 seconds on the clock. There's the number 28 of Oliver Smith, Ronnie Coburn, who the team have done really well because, of course, that kart had problems in the first race. So they've turned that around, got it going again, and it's running well as we go on to the final lap. I think we should be going on to the final lap of the race, unless the leaders cross-start finish with a couple of seconds left. Actually, yeah, I think they did. So Damien Barris-Haggett will have to do another 2 laps, including the one he's on. There are the leaders. Down into Ashby they go. Well clear of Callum Gosh now. At the moment, it just looks like Damien Barris-Haggett has got this under control.
Key point of note, we can see the 27 of Damien Barris-Haggett sporting that bright green neck brace. The neck brace is actually an optional part for the regulations. Not every driver has to wear it. William Rea chooses not to wear one. And it's a safety thing, quite frankly. There is a little bit of debate, especially at FIA level in Europe, whether it actually makes a difference. As we can see now, the 27 defending, moves back across onto the last lap. William Rea might be sensing an opportunity, judging he has just put in the fastest lap of the race. Another slightly tighter line going into Ashby and out of it. So we now head down into Wilkins and out of Wilkins. Not defending too much now, going into Osiers on this last lap, and he has this pretty much on. Quick glance over the shoulder whether he needs to defend. The answer is no, and he should have this in the back.
Should absolutely. It's been a very, very competitive day so far in Mini Max, and I'm sure it will continue to be so. But Damien Barris-Haggett takes heat number 2, just ahead of William Ray there. Callum Gosh, solid result there in 3rd place. Daniel Amor should be coming round in 4th place in his number 41 car. To cross-start finish, there he is. Oliver Smith in 5th. Ronnie Coburn is in 6th place. Mac McFarquhar 7th. Woody Radford 8th. Oliver Sander 9th. Another top 10 for Stasha Bagley. Harry Higgs, George Barker, Harrison Morrow, Edward Rose and Amelie Ackett take us down to 15th. Top novice, great result there for Charlie de Moncos in the number 98, followed in by the 89 of Lena Somers-Kelly, Josh Cooke and George Ivanov.